We don't have inflation. Well, we might have inflation. Yeah, and if you do, you raise the rate a little bit. That's okay. The only thing is we have a Fed chairman that is, he doesn't get it. I think we should be paying 1% right now. And we're paying more because we have a guy who's, suffers from, I think, Trump derangement syndrome. He's an average mentally person. I'd say low in terms of what he does. Low IQ for what he does, okay? And then he goes up and talks about, I'd like to see costs come down. He gets up and he does his little thing for 5 minutes, and he goes out and he goes back to the beach. He goes, I'd like to see costs come down. And it's really just more of a paper movement. It's not like you're not cutting anything, you're not cutting jobs. It's just interest rates. I'd like to see costs come down. He gets up, might have inflation. Yeah, and if you do, you raise the rate.
Achieve our congressionally assigned goals of stable.
If you can't pay back the loan, you can discharge it in bankruptcy.
I would remind the Fed chair, and I would remind the entire world, that this is a president who was a businessman first. The one problem that remains is high interest rates for the American people. The American people want to borrow money cheaply, and they should be able to do that. But unfortunately, we have interest rates that are still too high. So the president sent this note to the Fed chair today. Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. This is a chart of all of the interest rates of many countries throughout the world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand,
Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde,
South Korea,
Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE
are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world.
And without us, everything blows up. We sort of control the world in that sense, but we have a guy that's just a stubborn mule. He's doing the service, a very we've taken in already hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, no inflation. The only problem we have is we have a Fed guy that doesn't understand what's happening, and it would be great if he'd lower the rate because we'd be able to borrow a lot cheaper. And he's just not a smart person. What he's doing, though, he's hurting us for years to come. But if we got the rates down, we would be a rocket ship. So, if you look at that, we are finally going to be able to the rate a little bit. That's okay. Money, at least. We have to fight this guy. He's not doing the job. Each point that he keeps it up is the equivalent of $300 billion. $300 billion. So if he lowered it to, it would save $600 billion. We have to work hard with cuts on that, right? That's a lot of cutting. And this guy could do it so easily. A guy in there that with the stroke of a pen could lower interest rates and save us hundreds of billions of dollars a year. But he's a stupid person. I'm not sure if he doesn't understand it, because he should be able to understand it. It's sort of 101 economics.
Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up over recent months. Respondents to surveys of consumers, businesses, and professional forecasters point to tariffs as the driving factor. Policy changes continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain. Expectations of that level, and thus of the related economic effects, reached a peak in April and have since declined. Even so, increases in tariffs this year are likely to push up prices and weigh on economic activity. The effects on inflation could be short-lived, reflecting a one-time shift in the price level. It's also possible that the inflationary effects could instead be more persistent.
Jay Powell has already told the President of the United States what's needed in order to get interest rates down, and that is for Donald Trump to stop the chaos that he's injecting into this economy. We saw the latest Fed data showing inflation starting to tick up, unemployment starting to tick up, and GDP growth shrinking. And we just saw today that actual GDP has shrunk in the last quarter. All are bad economic signs, and they are all the results of Donald Trump creating chaos in the economic system. There is one human being in the United States who's causing interest rates to stay high, and his name is Donald J. Trump.
This is the opposite of Biden. Biden would take a half a question and he'd...
Housing services, which are the other two big pieces other than goods.
Doesn't have very much money. I've never seen anything like it. You're
meeting with the senators. I think that we are...
The president has not been shy about acting on things that he believes in. Why not just fire Jerome Powell and put in somebody that is going to lower rates? Why wait?
Well, it's a good question and one you can ask the president because that's a decision for him to make. But you're right to point out the politicization of the Fed, and it's very unfortunate for our country. But Jerome Powell cut rates numerous times ahead of the election when Joe Biden was in this Oval Office, but now he refuses to, and the economy is in a much better place. So there really isn't a good explanation for that, and the president is rightfully calling attention to it.
Has the president got a short list of who he wants to see as Jay Powell's successor, and is he going to name a successor as early as this summer?
I won't get ahead of the president on any announcements on that.
If you've begun interviewing different candidates for the Fed pick.
Yeah, I know within 3 or 4 people who are going to pick. I mean, he goes out pretty soon, fortunately, because I think he's terrible. But he's probably a very political guy, I guess. I don't know. I think he's a very stupid person, actually. And I'm going to put somebody that wants to cut rates. There are a lot of them out there.